Hey guys, it's Dylan Flashner. I could not be more excited to be on the Gym Masters show. Here we go.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Dylan.
No problem, brother. I'm excited.
I could see you're excited. Your hat was lifting off your head. You're so excited.
No, it's got an energy right now, so I'm feeling it.
It does. It does. We were having a great conversation about this, that, and the other, and being East Coast guys originally here, and sort of comparing notes about the locations and New York and Boston and all these great places.
Across the
You
map.
across the map, yes, and you are across the map on television and film and so much more, Dylan. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Very excited to have you here. Dylan is a celebrated actor, producer, filmmaker, and he's a musician too. He's got his own music out. You can catch it on Spotify. As a matter of fact, in doing my research, it was a music video back in 2017, your own, where a discovery sort of happened, right? You started in music but
Yeah.
always had that acting bug burning and yearning inside you, right, Dylan?
Yeah, no, it's funny. The fact that you even know that is awesome. But yeah, so I was on a music video set of mine, doing a 5 song medley kind of video, and it was going to be about 10 to 12 minutes. We never released it, but there was a producer for television that was there, and they came up to me and they were like, "Hey, you'd be great for this, and we're doing a pilot." And I just kind of scoffed it off. I'm like, I've heard that one before, one of those stories. And I gave them my email, not even my phone number, and they sent me a script the next day with me as the lead of a pilot. And that kind of, rocketed this acting career a little bit. So, right place, right time.
That's what it's all about, my friend. Right place, right time for sure. But even before the music and the acting, he's a Boston boy, so he likes all the Boston teams, of
Yeah,
course. And
of course.
Larry Bird, going back to the Celtics days, some really
One of
great.
one of my heroes. Yep.
He was really class act too,
Oh yeah.
professional, never really involved in any sort of, you know,
Scandal or
front
anything. Yeah.
page stuff, right? Just did
Yeah.
his thing. Dylan has been seen in a lot of great movies with a lot of fantastic people, folks. This one is, of course, like father, like son with Dermot Mulroney. He was fantastic in that. Also in The Card Counter and with an incredible cast of people in The Comeback Trail. You may remember that one, folks, too. And in The Comeback Trail, he worked with Robert De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman. This is just, a few of the amazing things he's been a part of. Blue Eyed Girl, which is a fantastic comedy. Also, Prey and Bandit, Josh
Yep.
Duhamel, Mel Gibson and Company, The Cure. You may recall all of these folks, but again, he's got his own music out as well, all on Spotify. This guy is multi talented.
Oh, thank
With
you,
all
man.
of that, and we'll talk about those, there's a wrestling connection too. You were a collegiate athlete,
Yeah.
and wrestling was something that was of great interest in sports. I think
Yeah.
you wanted to be an athlete, professional athlete first, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the goal a long time ago. I wanted to play basketball internationally. Like that was a set goal of mine, and I tore my Achilles twice. So that dream kind of died out, and I was wondering how I could use my athleticism and my entertainment aspect to, what do you want to call it, my talent or anything like that. And I've been a big professional wrestling fan for a long time. So for 6 months, I trained to be a professional wrestler in the backyard of a former wrestler. And, it was a really interesting experience. I don't know if people understand how much the physical toll is for those guys, but they're wrestling every single night, um, sometimes twice a day, and they're putting on these performances to seem like they're actually, getting hit and stuff like that, but they do. They take real falls, and I had multiple concussions doing it. Um, but yeah, I've always had a passion for it.
Was wrestling the only sport, or did you played basketball too, didn't you?
Yeah, so I played basketball and football in college. Small school, but. I was supposed to be a walk-on in Nevada for
It was
basketball.
at Chapman University, right?
Yeah, so Chapman. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
sports was a real interest, but then when did the musical side of you sort of blossom? Was that something you were always interested in? And is there music in your family?
Yeah, there's not. I love my dad to death, but he doesn't really have a voice. But I just started freestyling in the backyard with my friends, and I was like, let's go to a studio one day, just test it out. And um, I was horrible when I started. I was not very good. It's very difficult to do that kind of thing. I think people all say that, it's so engineered now, and it's easier to do music than ever, but um, there's some real talented people that work there, and I worked with writers, and I worked with other artists, and yeah, I was just really passionate about it. I like to jump in to the fire and just kind of go for it. That's a good trait of mine and a fault a little bit at times, but um, yeah, I started music in college. I would go to the studio till 4 a.m. and try to go to class at 8 a.m. and it wasn't really working for me.
That's a
So
tough schedule, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was really tough. And I decided to drop out of college and give the music thing a try. Um,
And what was the
and
genre, the style of music that you were doing?
I like to say it's melodic rap.
Hmm.
And being who I am, it's a little bit of a tough lane to convince people, but I had some success there, and uh, luckily acting kind of fell into place because that was the end goal always, was to find a way to get into the industry. I just didn't know how.
So somebody saw the music video, and is that what spurred the acting, or was acting something that you were already working towards? How did the acting part actually blossom for you, Dylan?
Yeah, I was it was actually on the music video set that the TV producer was on. So they hadn't watched any of my stuff prior. It felt like one of those, when the model gets founded in the mall or whatever kind of story. But um, yeah, it was, again, right place, right time. And I always knew that I wanted to do stuff like that. Like I would make Vine videos and Instagram reels and stuff like that and kind of act, but I never really took it seriously until 2017. And yeah, it fell into place, and here I am now. So
Here you
um,
are on the Jim Master Show, huh? It's the
yeah,
pinnacle of
exactly.
the career so
No,
far,
no,
right?
I'm telling you something. It really is nice, and having an interview where they know your background, I think, is so underrated. So I just appreciate you.
Do you miss chowder?
I miss chowder a little bit. I miss the seafood for sure.
Yeah. The
Um,
Boston Winters.
yeah, the Boston Winters, the sports teams going to Fenway. That was always a great treat of mine. So, yeah, I don't miss the weather too much, but I miss most of it.
Do you still have family back east in New England?
They've all kind of moved out here.
They have,
They
right?
yeah, it's if you have the ability to move, I think you end up moving.
Yeah.
But it's I like to think they copied us a little bit, but um, yeah, they got the memo that this is great weather, and
That is great weather,
it's
and,
yeah,
you know,
there's so much to do, great
you might
restaurants.
introduce them to another celebrity or 2,
Yeah, yeah,
hang
they
out
get it.
lunch with this one or that one.
Yeah, they get excited over that. So now that I'm friends with a few celebrities here, that I get to introduce them in a different way, they get pretty excited.
What was the first acting project, the one that, really got things going for you? Was it Like Father, Like Son, or was there a few things before that you did, maybe a play, maybe a commercial, and maybe something that led to an opportunity to be working, with Dermot Mulroney on such an incredible, movie as Like Father, Like Son, which was
Yeah,
really fantastic, a terrific thriller playing Eli.
thank you.
Um, yeah, how did that come about, that opportunity to be a part of that? And were there things that you did prior that sort of led up to that?
Yeah, I think my first ever pilot was kind of what got everything going. Dermot, ironically enough, played my father in that. So I think, it's never going to be seen, but um, I got jobs based off of that as my reel. So um, I like to think that's the first thing that kind of got it jump started. But the way that Like Father, Like Son kind of came together was Dermot enjoyed working with me, and they came to him and they were like, will you give this another try with this kid? You've worked with him before and stuff like that. And Dermot's such a awesome guy and such a giving actor that he was, game for it. And I think we have a really great chemistry together. And I think it's underrated when you can get that chemistry in the independent scene. So
Hmm.
yeah, that I think like Father, being my first real lead, I think is kind of the movie that I look to as kind of giving me a chance here. But um,
What was it like
Bandit,
working with Dermot?
oh,
Great guy,
Dermot's
right?
he's an amazing guy, but he's an even more talented actor, which is
Uh,
saying a lot because he's a great
yeah.
guy.
And very
Yeah.
like reassuring, like a mentor, like he realized you were new at this. And I'm sure he
Oh,
maybe gave you tidbits of advice and things,
oh, yeah,
which is
and
terrific.
he doesn't have to do that. He's
Right.
at a point in his career where there's no reason to have to do that kind of thing. And he would give me tips in the middle of the scenes, like, "Hey, look, Dylan, look this way, look that way, and think for a second." And um, one of the most powerful things he said to me was, "You have all the talent in the world, just work hard." And it really instilled a lot of confidence in me that shoot. Um, I have such a great team around me. It makes my life so much easier.
Having the team and people who believe in you and who support you. And you mentioned you were starting to talk about Bandit. What another great one too. And here you are,
Yeah.
with Josh Duhamel, who's made a terrific career for him. The
Yeah.
the guy from Minot, North Dakota, and
Yeah.
Mel Gibson. I mean, uh, do you pinch yourself sometimes when you're doing these things? Like, wow, this is really cool. Like, you all respect each other's talents. You all bring something to the table, but you're working with some other great people like Mel and Josh on something like Bandit. How did that come about? Another great one to be a part of.
Yeah. I got the call. Um, I had worked with Mel prior, and he actually put in a good word for me. And saying that out loud just sounds so out of, you know, this world, like having a guy
Mel
like Mel
Gibson
Gibson,
put in a good word for me.
which,
That's
like it's such a
cool.
crazy aspect of the business. And
Right, because it's rare.
it's super rare.
Yeah.
I pinch myself sometimes with the opportunities that I've been allotted. So, um, yeah, Mel's another one of those guys I look up to as somebody that's helped me a lot in this business. And, um, I did a scene with Mel prior to Bandit, and I remember just this like trance I was in. I was like, this is really happening to me right now. This is, I'm across the way from Mel Gibson. Like this guy played Jesus Christ, like I don't know how I'm here right now, but um yeah, sometimes you have to just like lock back in and just
Yeah.
realize like,
Yeah.
this is a job, and um this is what you're meant to be doing. So
Yeah. Right.
Josh was really cool about making me feel like an equal. I think that was a really time where I was questioning that a little bit. And he really just instilled confidence in me. And that's the cool part about acting with all these greats is I really don't have much negative to say about them. There's a reason why they're so great at what they do, and um, they're so giving. I think that's the underrated part about it.
Josh is a great actor too. He's had an opportunity to be in a lot of great things. And again, Bandit is, I encourage folks to check that out with Dylan and Mel and Josh. Really, really good. But Josh is a great guy too, right? He's another one that's very versatile, can take on so many roles. And when you're on set with him, it's like you said, gee, am I an equal? You question yourself, but then they treat you like equals, which then
Right.
allows you to free up all of the maybe inner voices that you hear, and then you can really take on the role and knock it out of the park when you have the reassurance of other veteran people around you, right?
Yeah, no, it was one of my favorite performances I've put on. I'm usually pretty hypercritical about things, but that was just so much fun to work with him, and he's such a great guy. I mean, like, fed the crew and did some things that a number one, I think, doesn't get enough credit for if they do those kind of things. Um, yeah, I just remember having so much freedom working with him. And that's such an underrated aspect of what we do is, you want to be emotionally free and able to play. And, he never came to me and said that idea isn't good. He would just come to me with like suggestions or other things. And we work hand in hand in that movie. So all my scenes are with Josh. Um, and yeah, having Mel, put in a good word and trust me with that kind of role, it meant a lot to me.
Which is great. I mean, you take that with you, and you never know. Hollywood is a small area, a small business. Everybody knows everybody, a small industry. End up
Yeah.
working with people again, a million different times on different projects. Another one, which was fantastic, and the people that you're working with here, the Comeback Trail. This one
Yeah.
here, for folks who haven't seen it yet, this stars, of course, not only Dylan in it, but he's working
Some
with Robert De
heavy
Niro.
hitters in that movie. Yeah, for
Robert De
sure.
Niro, yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, and the one and only voice of God, Morgan Freeman. God, I was telling Dylan beforehand that I remember Morgan Freeman, which a lot of I'm sure viewers do. He used to be on with Rita Moreno on the Electric Company on PBS. It was Sesame Street. It was the Electric Company, and then Zoom out of Boston.
Yeah.
What was it like working with these folks? And tell us about your role in the Comeback Trail. What was it like on set? What was the process like for you? Like
So
working with
I
some
I
big people there. Yeah.
yeah, I consider this my first real acting job. This was right after the pilot. Um I was such a deer in the headlights at the time. I didn't really know what I was doing. And they threw me into scenes with Tommy Lee Jones. And yeah,
Literally threw you in. There you go.
yeah,
Go over
I don't,
there.
threw me in. And
Wow.
working with a guy like that, it was just talk about a real pinch yourself kind of moment. Um, I was a big Men in Black fan, and just being in the scenes with him, I think he was going through something at the time. He was
Yeah.
not the easiest to work with that way,
Yeah.
but he is such a great actor, and he's so good at what he does. I think he was method a little bit. So, you got that aspect to it that was a little tough, but just a really, really great overall actor and a great experience for me. It was the first kind of welcome moment for me. So, um, yeah, I played a I played an assistant director of the movie within the movie. Um, and yeah, I was what's funny is like one of the scenes I asked him for an autograph. And the ironic part is I would have done that in real life. So, yeah, he's such a talented guy. You can just tell naturally he's just so good for the screen. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
watching that and watching all the greats, I got to watch Niro act, and I got to watch Morgan act, and then eventually work with Morgan. Um,
What was
yeah,
that like? I mean, he's just an iconic person. He's so grounded. He's so solid. He's very deep. I mean, the conversations you can have with a Morgan Freeman just take you to a different level of humanity. He's really something else, isn't he?
you know, I think the less is more thing really applies to these guys because they don't do too much. or they don't force things. They're just so natural about their acting that it just makes you believe. And they're just they do a look, or they breathe a certain way, or they walk a certain way, and you're just enthralled with their performance. And one thing about Morgan, he just didn't do very much, and you just felt like he was doing everything. And De Niro's so good at what he does too. Watching him do dialogue as a character that was dressed up as, he had a wig and, mustache and all this stuff, they embody acting honestly. And I just look up to them.
It's like acting in its purest form, right? It's a lot of
Right.
times when people start out, they start out almost over the top, like you can see when people are overacting.
Right.
And then as time goes on and you become more seasoned and you've been called upon to play all kinds of different characters, different roles, and you start to actually build the confidence in yourself, not just
Right.
hearing everybody else talk about how great you are and how terrific you need to believe it yourself in order to convince yourself, hey, I am good. I'm at this level and I can let all that other stuff go and then focus
Right.
on the task at hand, which is the acting. These guys, like a Robert De Niro and a Morgan Freeman, um, they're already well beyond all that. So they come, they give the best that they can give, and it almost seems effortless. When you were, there with a Robert De Niro and a Morgan Freeman, were you watching them? Were you absorbing things, picking things up, like you mentioned, Morgan and Robert, not even having to what seemed like do much, though they were doing a lot, but in their own sort of understated way. Were you absorbing various things from these legendary actors?
Absolutely. I think of myself as a student of the game, and I still do. Like I didn't do acting school growing up. I didn't have an acting background coming into this thing. So I'm learning on the fly always. And um the opportunity to watch these guys work is worth its weight in gold, you know? I think what's so underrated about them is they're even willing to like talk to you about it, and not very many actors at that level are willing to talk to you about it. um, them specifically, they're willing to talk about it. And um, yeah, I just, at certain times you have to like separate yourself from being a fan and really focus in as, you're an actor, you're at this level, focus in here and see how they do it. And I've taken some tidbits from those guys for sure. One thing about Morgan, he's so kind and generous on set. I think that's such an underrated aspect of our business, is how you treat other people. And um, I've taken that onto every set. And Robert's just so professional. Um, just coming prepared and being polite, and just taking little things that I can add within my skill set is just so important.
It really, really is. And now, the advent of artificial intelligence and all people have concerns about that and sort
Yeah.
of lifting voices and images and all. And Morgan said something spectacular when he was interviewed recently on CBS Mornings with Gail King and company. And they were talking to him about his thoughts on, AI. And some of his voice, his iconic voice and image has been lifted here and there, and people sort of doing AI versions and putting him in videos and all of that.
Yeah.
And he's not really for that, but and doesn't really like a lot of people. If you're going to do that, make me aware of it. Let's discuss. Otherwise, no
Right.
can do. And then they had asked, well, what if they want to do that and they're willing to pay. They're willing to, there's some fee involved or
Yeah.
payment. And then he said, then we can discuss.
Yeah. That's a very good answer to that
That's a good
question.
way to,
Yeah.
then it's a whole other thing. Let's talk about it. What's your idea? What do you want to do? And, that's a whole other conversation that people have been having lately. Another
Yeah.
great one, Prey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one too. Here you are with Ryan Phillippe.
So this was actually I've done three movies with Emil, and I've done two or three with Ryan. So this was one of those where it was after the first time we worked together, and
Oh yeah,
it was really cool to be able to kind of nip the whole we don't know each other thing in the bud, and
right.
get to work right. So um, they're really talented. I say that about a lot of people I work with, but I get to work with some of the best in the business, and it's just one of those things where everyone's so talented. What separates you from the other people? Um, and I think their effort level kind of separates them. Um, Emil is so caught in being in the character. He gives such a great performance because he's so passionate about what he does. And Ryan gives a great performance because he's so talented. Um, so yeah, working with those guys, and Mina Suvari is also another actress that I think is just ultra gifted, and um, her ability to convey emotion um, is just, bar none, one of the better ones I've worked with. So this movie was just a lot of fun. It was tough to film. It was in Santa Clarita during the winter, so acting like you're overheating in the winter is not the easiest thing in the world. So it
You
definitely,
become the prey.
yeah, yeah, I felt like the prey for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was just an interesting shoot.
yeah.
But it was awesome how the movie came out.
Absolutely, and Ryan Phillippe, a fantastic, actor as well, another
Yeah.
East Coaster, originally from,
Yeah.
Delaware,
Yep.
and, like you said, Emil, also another fantastic actor. You surrounded yourself with some really amazing people. Another one
Yeah.
too, the card counter,
Yeah.
being involved in that, and, that was another Tiffany Haddish and Ty Sheridan and Willem Dafoe and just so many others, Harvey
Yeah.
Keitel, Sam
Yeah.
Worthington. Um,
Action
tell
packed one. Yeah.
This is
Like
an
it's,
action-packed one, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I have a great story about Tiffany Haddish I haven't told yet. I got to set, this was one of my first movies ever. It was during the pandemic. And, I'm just talking to her without really knowing who she is. I'm so new to the business, and I grew up watching athletes and stuff like that. I'm kind of a little bit of, I think that's why people like me is because I'm not, fanning over them, and I'm just treating them as a human being. But, um, we were just having a great conversation. She's like, take my trailer. I'm like, what? She's like, take my trailer. I have like a huge trailer. Just take it for the day. Um, so I didn't have a trailer on that shoot, but she gave me hers. And it meant a lot to me. Like she was just so giving, and um then I was working with Oscar Isaac an hour later. So it was definitely one of those moments where I was sweating a little bit. I've watched Star Wars and a few other movies, and um but Oscar's another one of those actors that was very encouraging. Um, I was struggling to get one scene out, and he pulled me aside and he's like, "Take a deep breath,
Right.
relax. This is supposed to be fun."
Mm.
So, reminding me that part of the business, I thank him a lot for that. So, um, it's really cool. Everyone I've really worked with kind of gave me a little bit of the business. And I think that's why I've been able to grow so much in these past 7 years.
It's really incredible, yeah, the people that are giving sort of the support and the guidance and rooting you on, and then, you're growing, and blossoming and flourishing as that happens as well, which is really, really spectacular.
Yeah.
And of course, you play Prince Titan in the comedy film Blue Eye Girl
Yeah.
with
That
so
was
many
that
incredible
was a fun
Beau
one.
Bridges, Freddie Rodriguez, and so many others. It's like,
No, I mean it
how'd you
just
like being
feels
the
like,
prince?
I loved it. I had a dialect coach kind of help me with the ye old English, and um, it wasn't supposed to be perfect. That's part of the role. So,
Right.
learning a new accent and something like that was just a really cool experience for me. I think what's so cool about the business is you do things that you don't get to necessarily do in regular life. I've learned how to skateboard. I've, learned how to do a French accent. I've gotten to, do other things that I wouldn't necessarily get to do. So, um, yeah, it was fun. I love comedy roles because I feel like that's the most free you get to be is, you just try to make people laugh, and that's something I always enjoyed when I was a kid. So, yeah, it just feels like every movie I'm in, I just get to work with such experienced people, and that's such a blessing because it doesn't work out like that for everybody. So, having people with that much experience around you that know comedy, that know how to do it, makes my life so much easier. So, yeah, I had a great time doing that one.
What was it like on set working with everybody? And I mentioned Beau Bridges. He's been acting since the beginning of time. Another legend, Lloyd Bridges' son. It's just, and again,
Yeah.
a comedy. Like you said, you like the comedy role as well. What was that like on set? And where was that filmed?
Oh, so that was filmed in Minnesota. Um, Dead winter. So that was a little tough, but uh, just getting to see these people work, like Beau Bridges, just the simplicity that they have with the job. I aspire to have that simplicity. They're just so good at what they do now, and they've done it for so many years. Um, yeah, and one thing about Coughlin is she's just so good at being the lead. She makes you feel throughout the movie, and she doesn't get boring. I think that's the thing about entertainment now is people have short attention spans, and it's who can keep you locked in. And she's just so good at it. She was easy to work with. Eliza's so easy to work with. Um, yeah, so it was just overall it was an amazing experience. I broke my finger um, when I fell in that scene, um, which is a funny tidbit, actually. I dislocated it.
How did
So
that
we didn't get,
happen? Which finger was it?
so it was my thumb. Yeah, so there's this scene I'm in where I get punched in the face and then I fall and everyone's scurrying around. So what happened was I fell, I sprained my thumb, and then someone stepped on it and dislocated it. Um, yeah, so you can hear me kind of like doing like the oohs and ahs, like that was real. That wasn't just me acting,
So,
like I was
I was
I
going to
was
say
in
that's
a
the
serious
real
amount of pain.
pain.
Yeah,
So, folks, whenever you hear actors and actresses and those in Hollywood say sometimes you get stepped on, he
yeah,
actually was stepped on
I was stepped on. Yeah, and my dad
and
was
lived
on
to
set.
tell.
Yeah, my dad was on set that day. He's a doctor, so he popped it back in for me.
Perfect.
Which not fun, not a fun process at all. But yeah, it gives you memories, and I think that's the coolest part about what I've gotten to do is I have a memory from each set, and um, it just seems like I'm blessed in such a way that I've had good experiences. Like I think it's so easy to have negative experiences in this business, and
Right.
to have a bunch of positive ones is just truly a blessing.
It really is. What are some of the maybe crazy moments that you've had on set? A lot of times there are things that happen on set where something goes wrong or something goes crazy or the weather starts to take over or you're trying to beat the sun from setting because the shot has to match. What are
Yeah.
some moments from various films and things that you've been on that kind of stand out as some of the funnier, crazier moments?
You know, uh, all the COVID shooting was very much so the craziest. They wouldn't let us sit in chairs because they were worried that that would contract COVID at the time. So, sitting on the floor, was kind of interesting. Yeah, I think the craziest moment I had was there was a lightning storm during one of the movies I was filming in Biloxi, Mississippi, and one of the lightning strikes actually struck right near us, and you could see the lightning actually hit the ground. And I had never seen that in my entire life. Like I never thought I would be a part of that kind of thing. And luckily, we had stopped filming because there was a lot of electronics and stuff like that. So that was pretty scary. Uh, I've I've had some co-stars kind of, have bad days and stuff like that, but um no, I've been so lucky to like avoid that. There's been scenes where rain wasn't written in and we had to do rain. There's been scenes where we had to get, it in before and we only had one take. Um, but yeah, for the most part, it's been pretty on schedule and um, yeah, I just again get to do what I get to do, and it doesn't all feel too crazy at times, but just the normal, movie set drama. That's probably the craziest thing that happens. But
Stuff that
yeah,
happens, yeah,
yeah,
and each set or each shoot has, its own version of craft services too for viewers
yeah,
watching. That's,
yeah.
that's the
Definitely
tables
my
of
favorite part. Yeah,
everybody loves the craft services,
of
and
course.
craft services for viewers watching, that's when you're on a shoot, and even if you're on a commercial shoot, like I've done a lot of commercials too, and they'll have craft services when we're breaking, and, that's all the different foods that you eat to get the nourishment, and sometimes there's some really good stuff that you get to enjoy,
Yeah,
stuff you
yeah.
might not even make at home.
No, the recent movie I was just on in Vegas, Vegas: A True Love Story. It'll come out probably at the end of the year, beginning of next year. But they had one of the best craft services I've ever been a part of. I mean, like anything you can name, they had. They had taco trucks. They had, um, you know, just you said you need something, they had it the next day. Um, you don't get that on every set, and depending on the budget, there's only so much that gets to go into craft services. So, um, just to be on a set where it was like that, I asked for a hamburger, and the next day they had it. It was just,
That doesn't even
yeah,
happen at home, right?
no, no, trust me. Like if I ask for a
Like,
hamburger at home, I'm on my own. So,
yeah. It
yeah,
only
it's
happens if you're, I, Jimmy Jeannie, Barbara Eden, that's it.
yeah, but that's the spoiled part about what we get to do, and that's why I
Yeah.
always say, like, it's such a privileged job that we get to do. That we get treated so nicely on these sets, and
Oh, yeah.
people will fall at a crack of a finger, and um, yeah, I just want to make sure that they know I'm appreciative of that kind of thing for sure.
Which is fantastic, and I'm sure they know Dylan because they keep hiring you to do all this different work, which is amazing.
Right.
I know what it's like. You mentioned the lightning coming out of nowhere, and everybody
Right.
like jumps.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we were in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and we were on a camping trip all the way in, I think, Cherry Hill, New Jersey,
Hmm.
and we were under this awning and it was like a patio and everybody was in their uh, this camping gear, the sleeping bags and all of a sudden out of the blue this, oh, everybody remembers this forever because it was scary. We thought we were on a movie set. It was
Right.
like a torrential rainstorm out of nowhere came, bolt of lightning came within like 2 feet of the awning and where we all were wrapped up in our sleeping blankets sleeping. And I just remember that flash of light, and it split a tree in half right in front of us, and you could
Yeah.
smell the smoke from the lightning. And everybody's we're 12 years old. We're like,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
only seen that in movies, and everybody's like trying to get out of their sleeping bags, trying to unzip it and jump
Yeah.
around. And it was total chaos because it scared the heck out of
Oh
everybody.
no, no. I was 28 and I was scared like that. So it was just you can smell it and
It's yeah, you don't want to
it's
be anywhere near it. No.
no, not at all. And you just don't know if it's gonna happen again. And Yeah, it freaked out a lot of people. A lot of people refused to work that day.
Yeah, no, that's
You know,
lightning.
understandably so. Like, you know, that's a scary moment for sure. So,
I'm an ocean guy, being here on the coast, and
right,
we were swimming with family in Florida, and the family that lives in Florida, we were visiting, and I love the ocean, so you got to pretty much drag me out of it. And it was getting a little cloudy, and the family was like, "Okay, Jim, we're getting ready to pack up and go." And I'm, you become like a kid.
right.
No, come on. I said, "Well, it's, clouds are coming. It's going to start raining." I said, "But I'm in the ocean. I'm already wet. I
Yeah,
don't care if
no,
it's going to rain."
it's
They're like,
kind of the
"No,
best place to be.
it's
Yeah,
the best place to be." But then they said, "Well, this is Florida, and we get these lightning storms that when they come, it's like an epic, 1970s disaster movie.
right, right.
You want to get out of that ocean." So,
Yeah,
so
no,
I,
well,
I, I got out.
I'm glad you listened because it's yeah, Florida is another animal with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. The rain comes usually 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's torrential, and then in 5 minutes, everything dries up.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
It's
their weather is so bipolar, I can't even keep track of it. I've been to Miami a bunch and it's
and
just
just here comes
yeah.
that cloud and
Oh.
run and duck for cover. What are some cool places you've been for filming locations, Dylan, that you really enjoyed? And has it taken you to other countries yet at all as well?
Yeah, so I filmed a movie in Malta. I thought that was pretty interesting. What a beautiful country that ended up being. I had no clue about it. I'm up for a movie in Belgium right now.
Wow.
So we'll see if that comes through, but
My,
just had
my
a
nephew,
director talk. Yeah. Well, you're
yeah,
what
my
about
nephew
your
lives in Malta and he loves it. He
yeah,
moved from here to Malta for his work. He works in AI actually,
yeah.
and he went for business. He fell in love with Malta, the people, the food, the beauty of Malta.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't for the driving being on the other side of it, I would have loved it, you know, like completely. But you know, I had my driver out there and he was struggling a little bit, so it was a little scary
The
at times.
wheels on
But
the other side,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
you
like,
know, he's from Alabama, so you
uh,
know, they're not used to the wheel on the other side and he was learning about the it was that was a scary moment. Talk about scary. But yeah, so Malta, I've been to Bucharest,
mm,
Hungary.
yeah,
Uh you know, my favorite place to film though, I still love New York, you know, just the city feel of it, just the authenticity of the city. That's my favorite place to go. Um, I'm up for a movie in London
are you
later this
really?
year. Yeah,
Cool.
so a lot of the filming is international now. So,
It is.
you know, they're trying to save every nickel and dime they can. So,
Wow,
um,
right, yeah.
you know, so it's
A
part of
lot
the
of
game.
Canada too,
Yeah,
Vancouver and other
yeah.
areas, Canada.
Oh yeah, so I've been to Canada as well. So, um,
So, being a Boston boy, are we ever gonna see you maybe on an episode of, Wahlberg's Boston Blue? I mean,
oh,
got
trust me,
gotta get on there, huh?
they gave me a call. I'd be there. A big Marky Mark guy. So,
Right?
yeah, actually, I'm in talks of producing a movie with him.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're at the beginning stages of that one, but
I
um,
didn't cool, it's
yeah,
just,
yeah,
I
it
figured
just
Wahlberg, Boston, they go together and you
yeah,
and
and that's
that's
part
so
of the reason
cool.
we connected. Yeah. You know,
Wow.
he heard I was a Boston kid and I
Yep.
was a producer and you know, he's doing an independent movie later this year. So I probably can't give away too much information about that,
Yeah.
but it's, you
Right.
know, that's what it is. And to
That's
be able
cool.
to yeah, I've been able to produce with Scorsese and stuff like that. And
I mean, what's
um
that like? So we'll pause there.
right.
Produce with Martin Scorsese. But
Yeah.
drum roll. What is that like?
Oh,
He's one of the icons of the industry.
you know, I got to be on a call with him. I didn't get to, you know, fully get to know him kind of thing, but the presence and aura that he has um is something I really haven't seen. Um, you know, he's so successful at what he does, and just to be able to associate yourself with that kind of name is just um such an honor. You know, he's just so different in the way he thinks, and he's not afraid to give his opinion. And I think that's why he's so successful. So, um, yeah, it's a flex for sure. But yeah, I just like I said, I've been so blessed with getting the opportunity to work with these heavy hitters, and um, just hope it continues.
Absolutely right. And he's got a great sense of humor too. He really
Oh,
can
yeah,
be
unbelievably
funny,
funny.
Martin Scorsese, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, just naturally though. Like he doesn't even try to tell a joke. He's
It's not
just a
forced.
naturally
It's
funny.
just he laughs at other. I've seen some clips of him being roasted by Don Rickles, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
just like bang, 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 bang. And he was
Oh.
laughing so hard he couldn't even get his breath.
Oh yeah, no, and Don's obviously hilarious, but
Don
like
Rickles.
to have the confidence that you can get made fun of, and still laugh at yourself, just kind of tells you who he is.
That's exactly right. The ability to laugh at yourself is something that takes time, but when you do, it's so freeing and just lets everything go, and you can focus on the rest of life. The Cure, the thriller, the horror film, The Cure. You were in that too, the role of Dr. Morrissey. What was it like being in a horror film like The Cure? And do you like that genre of
Yeah.
movie making? Yeah.
Yeah, I watch a lot of horror films because, women love horror films. So I mean, anytime I'm with a girl, it seems like they want to watch horror. So, it's just, yeah, I
You mean they're
enjoy
not
horror.
asking you to be on the Hallmark Channel or the
No,
Lifetime
no,
movie
no,
network
no,
yet?
no, not yet, not
One day
yet.
they will.
I know, I'm ready for it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do a lot of horror, it seems like. It's they have me play these kind of depthy characters lately, so horror is kind of one of my strong suits. But this movie, I play a doctor that is kind of, um he wants the best for his patients, and he will do anything in his power to do that. And unfortunately, he falls into some trouble. So, um, yeah, I really enjoyed playing something that was so complicated yet so simple. And it didn't really have to do with the horror part of the film. So, um, yeah, it was a different experience for me. A lot of riddling off medical stuff that made me appreciate my dad a little bit more.
Did you
But
confer with him at all for some the medical jargon pronunciation to prep?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So he plays as my manager right now. So we go over everything I do. But he's just a really smart guy, and he explained to me what I was saying because I have no clue what is going on. But um, yeah, it was a lot of memorization. I just remember, um, and the actors and actresses I was working with were a lot of fun to work with. They were my age, and I don't always get to do that. So that was a special kind of treat for me.
I think actors like Noah Wiley and George Clooney and even John Stamos over the years have talked about on some of the various TV dramas, the medical dramas like ER and shows like that, where it's all medical jargon, having to really learn it and ask about it, read up on it. So when they're on set, you have to be able to pronounce some really scientific words and understand what it is that you're
Yeah.
doing on set when you have that knife or what we're about to
Yeah,
go into
and I was a
surgery,
col I
man.
was a college dropout, so
You
the last thing I know is medical jargon. So that was a real acting.
stethoscope, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good luck spelling that. So
Right. They were
um
exactly right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's good I have my family being in a medical background for that
There,
one.
speaking of that, when they see you on set, or even the first times when they saw you in these movies and working with these other noted and celebrated talents, they must be really proud, huh? The fact that you still have them there rooting for you and they know your journey, they know what you've gone through and what it takes, the blood, sweat, and tears, moving from the East Coast to the West Coast to the action in Los Angeles and Hollywood. They must be really proud of you, huh?
Yeah, I've got such supportive parents. Like my dad's calling me right now as we speak. I talk to them every day. They were the first people that instilled confidence in me when I didn't want to go to school and I wanted to be an artist. And coming from a really educated background and some parents that went to school for 12 years after high school, and for them to be the most supportive people of my dream and my goals, um, they're extremely proud, but I'm extremely proud to be their son, like, um, I just take so much pride in my parents and they help me so much, you can't do this alone. And I think that's the most underrated part about what we do is there's so many people that help move the needle and help you get into motion. It seems like we get all the accolades and all that stuff, but I really, if there's anything I get to press, it's the fact that I have all the help in the world. And I didn't get here because I was, doing it all myself. And, I just grinded myself to the bone and did it myself. No, like I had a bunch of help coming in and, um, without that, I wouldn't be here today. So that's just one thing I want to press if I can.
It's very, very important, and that's fantastic to be able to say that because again, they are, I'm sure, very, very proud. Are you still
Thank you.
doing the music too? You're still putting out the music. You can go to Spotify, folks. He's got music on
Yeah,
Spotify, and wherever you can find music. These are a couple of bits of it: Clouds and
yeah,
Malibu Surfer.
yeah.
Still doing the music,
Yeah, acting's kind of taken over at this point, but I do music for fun. I have a lot of talented friends that do music, so I'm in the studio quite a bit still. But um, there'll be a time and place for that kind of thing, I think, in film. And I've already gotten some cool offers in terms of maybe doing a song for the soundtrack or something like that. So um, there'll be the right timing for it. I think right now acting is kind of taken over, but I still enjoy music. I still enjoy making music. It's just I'm a little busy at this point.
you write it too? Do you compose and do the lyrics, all of a songwriter
Yeah,
and
so I'm less of a musician, more of an artist in that
right.
aspect. Like I write, I help with the production, but I don't play instruments very well. I have friends that are really talented producers
You
that
bring
produce
in
for
some
me.
session musicians and
Yeah, I
all, and
I, I perform, but I don't want to take the credit for playing the instruments because that's just not what I do.
you'll
So
think of the ideas and the concepts and,
absolutely,
uh
that's all me and whoever's writing with me. So
right.
um,
Kinda cool to
that
do a
part of it.
film score, huh?
Oh, it'd be awesome. Like that is
Yeah,
the goal of mine down the road is to,
yeah.
do that kind of thing. And I see Bradley Cooper and these other actors that are singing in movies, and that's something I do aspire to do one day, but we'll pick the timing and the placing for that.
As you go along. We got a cool photo here. What was this one from?
Okay, that's the pilot. That's the original pilot that I did. This was 2017. Um, I, man, I'm young in that photo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, shout out to everybody that was involved with that pilot. Um, just, you know, I was playing a high school kid at the
Yep.
time, and yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of a happy-go-lucky kind of character, but the hair is something else for sure.
It's
Yeah,
part of the whole thing, right?
yeah,
All the different looks, right?
yeah, yeah.
Whatever it takes. I mean,
I've
you're
shaved
not
my head before.
you're
I've
not gonna
done
go
that.
bald.
I just shout out to my mom on that one.
Right, exactly.
She
Good
gave me that
genes.
chance. Yeah,
I
for
know.
sure. I got very lucky with the hairline. So,
Me too. I
yeah,
was just blessed. The
yeah, no,
dermatologist said, "Jim, you're already past a couple of those key cycles where it would disappear.
yeah,
You're good." And I said, "Thank you."
no, no. I mean, it's such a blessing to have hair. Like I have a lot of friends that are unfortunately losing it right now, and it's just, it allows versatility. It allows a lot of things in this business. So I don't take that for granted at all.
You've done thrillers, drama, comedy, and so much more. How do you prepare for a role, and how do you, when you get really heavy into the role? Sometimes an actor can get there's a line that can be blurred between the character they're playing and themselves, and they sort
Right.
of lose the sense of themselves. They
Hmm.
don't know how to detach from that intense character that they're playing. What's your method? How do you prepare, and then how do you release from that role and move on without it consuming you?
Yeah, I have such a great acting coach, Jim Clock, who's actually a fantastic actor himself, and he helps me prep. So, what we do is we go over, scene comprehension, character comprehension first, get to know the character, get to know what scenes we're doing and what is actually the behavior, and then, memorization's last. Like we leave that to, down the road, and it really keeps it fun, light. We like to use, positivity and other things that kind of keep you away from falling into the character too much. We're a lot about laughing and doing it in different ways and not falling into this making choices kind of thing. So like Father Like Son was the one role where I felt like, it was before I worked with Jim, and I felt like I lost myself a little bit during that shoot. um, playing somebody so dark and so down in the dumps, it made you feel like your life was a little bit down in the dumps. And, um, I didn't want to prepare like that anymore. I didn't want to fall into this idea that, this is my life and this is what it is. We're acting, and this isn't us. So, separating work from real life was a big aspect of my preparation that I wanted to improve on. So, yeah, it's not it's not the most, like, we do a lot of hours, and I think that's the underrated part about what we do is we put in a lot of effort, and it's not always pretty, but it gets the job done, and I love the grind.
As opposed to this is us, this isn't us.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So,
That's-
it's easy to fall into these characters. It's easy
yeah.
to lose yourself a little bit, but it's also easy to smile and get out of character for me, and that's an important part.
It really, really is. And you've been able to tackle so much. What are some of those blessings in your life that keep you going? Not every day is perfect. Sometimes there's rejection. Sometimes you got a stomach ache. Sometimes you're just like, what a rotten day this is, but you got to go out there and knock it out of the park. What do you call upon? What are some of those blessings in your life that
Oh,
keep you creating? It sounds like you've got many, my friend.
yeah, yeah, I do. Just a few to riddle off: my family and my friends. Like, I think they keep me motivated, they keep me humble, they keep me um, wanting more. I see the success of other people, and it inspires me. It doesn't, demotivate me. Um, my team is just so strong right now. I have such a great assistant and such a great production team, and, such great people working around me. So that keeps me motivated. Um, I try to watch inspiring things. Like, I try to watch motivational stuff without getting too caught up in the sappy part of that. And, if you really want something, you're going to have to do it on days that you don't feel like doing it. And I think that really shows the true test of character is when you're not feeling up for it, like the gym, and you show up. More than half the battle is just showing up. Um, so, I've just learned the art of just get there and then take it from where it is. If you're angry that day, take it from where it is, use that and motivate yourself that way. So, yeah, I look all around my life, and it's just been one big blessing. So I just, it sounds really sappy and
That's great.
whatever, but
Hey,
I've just
sometimes
been
sap is
lucky.
good, right? The world
Right.
is hard edge out there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And I see how many people go through the tough things in life. And
Yeah,
it really keeps me humble and, try to help out as many people as I can.
absolutely right. Real quick, you mentioned, which is kind of exciting, the upcoming thriller romance film Vegas, a love story
Yeah.
with an all-star cast. Tell
Yeah.
us about that. We'll keep an eye out for that one too, Dylan.
Oh, well, shout out Paul Dano, because talk about a guy that was willing to talk to me about anything. Um, he's such a talented actor, but he's an even more talented producer, director. Um, he gave me a lot of acting tips, and I really think Micah Monroe is one of the most talented females out there. She really surprised me with her effort and just her overall commitment. Um, and Ramin was such a great director in terms of collaboration. I was able to be a part of the 3-month process that they did prior to the film, and I got to have a lot of say, which I don't necessarily get um, on all these movies. And to be able to like be a creative is so inspiring and so freeing, especially with what we do. You felt your voice was heard, and for me, that's just everything I've been trying to go for.
And then at the end of the day, after a long day on set, working hard, all the crazy hours, sometimes you just got to go, ah. We
Super Bowl, Super
dug
Bowl
that out
two
of the
years ago.
file.
Yeah, 100%. I got to go on the field at the Super Bowl, so that
The
was
Super
really
Bowl, and
cool.
that's what he looks like when
Yeah,
they say "rap" on
yeah.
set.
Either that or he
Ah, we
goes he
did it.
goes and gambles in Vegas, one or the other. So, yeah, it was the
We
same
did it.
feeling. We did it, 100%.
So this was the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so I was at
Wow.
yeah, it was the Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and
How cool
luckily
is that?
I know a player or two, so they got me on the field, and it was just a really cool moment.
Wow, that really is cool, huh? That's a
Yeah,
great shot.
yeah, it was a great shot. I'm
And
glad we
look
got
at, is
that
that all
one.
the confetti and everything around?
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Wow.
doing an angel as we speak in that
Doesn't it
photo.
almost
So
yeah, right on the line. It almost looks like it's, the cover of like a movie poster or something.
no,
You know
it,
what I
it
mean?
it could be. I mean, it
Doesn't it
was
look like
it was
that?
it was my favorite Instagram photo for months. So
It's gotta be. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was a fun moment.
What else is coming up, and what else, are you excited about, and are there things you haven't done yet on that bucket list, Dylan, that you still wanna tackle?
Yeah, I'm producing two of my own features that we're working on. We're in pre-production right now for one's called A Puncher's Chance. It's a boxing horror film. And another one is a working title right now, but it's a poker movie. Um, and I'm really excited about those two opportunities. I have a few opportunities acting wise that, I'm not going to jinx, but things are looking good for that. So about 3 or 4 films later this year.
And you're a
Um,
poker player?
yeah, so I
Yeah.
played a little bit of,
Professional?
yeah, for
Yeah,
about
right?
6 months to a year, I was a professional poker player. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, so it was just really interesting how I got to, full circle that one. So I'm excited for that movie. That should be really exciting. Still being written. It's actually being written by George Gallo, um, who wrote Men in Black and a few other movies. And he's a great director too. So
How
um,
cool is that,
yeah,
right?
I mean, the fact that he said yes to it was just insane to me. But again, just another blessing. And yeah, I think I really just want to do roles that extend me and extend
Yeah.
my acting ability, and anything that comes across my table that does that, I get excited for.
I could see a superhero movie coming up too, especially with a name like Dylan Flashner. I
Hey
mean,
man.
it's
Uh,
got that sound, doesn't it?
yeah, no, I already liked you, but I like you a lot more now. It's just yeah, I would love to do a superhero movie. It'd be so awesome, and I work out a lot and try to stay in shape, and you never know when that kind of thing might come up. And um yeah, I would love to do that, but I also love playing these Jokerish kind of characters that are super
Right.
deep and a little bit, ugly. And um so I don't know what my main goal is, but I think, just striving to do something I haven't done.
Exactly. It's amazing when you look back all these years already that have gone by and all that you've
Yeah.
done in music and in film and TV and things that so much more to come, just really
Yeah.
scratching the surface. And all
Thank
of
you.
these amazing people in the industry that are so supportive and all of the incredible things you've had an opportunity to do, working on sets with other, major talent, and you've been able to pick it all up. filmmaker, producer yourself. So not only acting and being the talent, but also really getting your feet wet, being a creator and
Yeah.
creating the art too, which is really big and important for you, right?
Yeah, no, it is. I think the biggest superpower you can have in the industry is creating your own. And when I got into the business, I wanted to see how I could have an end game, and that end game was to be behind the screen. Um, so I built up a production company with my acting career as we're going. So everything I've been in, I've been a part of in production. Um, and everything I've gotten to do outside of it, like I've produced about 10, 15 movies that I haven't been in. So it's just, again, just another great opportunity to create your own media, create your own stories. And I'm really excited about these next few years because, being being where I'm at now, I get a lot more say and a lot more opportunities that I feel like really could change cinema. So I'm really excited, and it's just it's cool to be a producer.
It really is. And to be behind the scenes and creating your own stuff with your own vision is absolutely awesome. Cool stuff, my friend. Really,
Hey,
congratulations on everything. Boston boy makes good in Hollywood.
hey,
That's
man,
the
thank you so much.
headline on the
I
Jim
appreciate
Masters
I
show.
appreciate the time and the effort, and this is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So I just appreciate it.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. And now that you're part of the Jim Masters show family, the porch light is on for you. We say to all the guests, and you're welcome back anytime. Keep us posted, on
Yeah. Oh,
projects. Anytime even you just want to come on for a few minutes, there's no time clock.
be
Uh,
careful what you wish for is all I got to say about that one. So I'll be back. Don't worry about that one.
I'll be back.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And spread the word about our show. We would love that. Other folks you think like to pop on. Always
Yeah.
takes a village, as we know. And I really hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Dylan.
No, I did definitely. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who's listening.
All the viewers, and you're heading to Coachella, huh? Lucky you.
Yeah, yeah, lucky me. It's a little bit of a marathon, but
It
yeah,
is.
heading out tonight. So
He's
hopefully
heading
that's a
out.
good time. Yeah,
We'll have
let's
a
watch some.
blast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thanks for stopping by the Jim Masters show. And congratulations and everything, Dylan.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for the generosity of time. We really
Uh,
appreciate it, my friend.
it
Come
was my
see us
pleasure.
again.
Yeah, we'll do. 100%. Thank
All
you again.
right. You be well, okay?
All right, take care.
Greetings from back east. Be well.
You too.
Dylan Flashner joining us here on the Jim Masters Show, Celebrity Talk Show series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this episode a thumbs up, like on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And also drop a comment if there's some of these great movies and talent and great stories that he shared on our show that really hit home with you. Drop a comment. We love hearing from our faithful viewing audience from all around the world. And share this episode on your social media. You can share it right from the YouTube channel on your social media and let others know that you enjoy what we do here on the Jim Masters Show. We thank Dylan for joining us. He's got so many cool things that are coming up in his life in Hollywood, as a filmmaker, as an actor, as a producer, making music as well. Really cool deep dive conversation. That's what we do here, deep dive conversations on the Jim Masters Show. So if you enjoyed it, thank you very much for watching. Let us know. Thumbs up, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it, drop a comment below, and check out the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other celebrity guest appearances and conversations with celebrity friends from all around the world right here in the archives, the JMS archives. You can go back and watch every single episode. We save them all for you. So Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we appreciate you being here. Don't forget to love one another. Don't forget to take care of one another. And don't forget to do the very same for yourself. We shall see you on the next episode. Don't go anywhere. Another great episode comes up in just a moment of the Jim Masters Show. We love you all. Be well. Take care of one another. We'll see you next time. Cheers.